welcome to Rob Ukulele. That's the iconic intro to the hit by the band Fleetwood Mac called Albatross that was hit back in 1970, and then in more recent years has kind of been more well known for the backing music in the Marks and Spencer's food adverts. I'm going to explain and break down my arrangement for that song. I've got a video that is already live on YouTube of me playing that particular tune. I've had a couple of comments about people being very interested, wanting to know exactly how I actually play that. Now, before I start, I just want to say that this arrangement is my arrangement, and I have utmost respect for people who put out videos where they work out exactly what is played on the record and then teach you how to do that. And I look at some of those videos myself and learn things from them. I have a somewhat more cavalier approach to that. I put up my arrangements and they may differ slightly. And really, if I'm trying to emulate something that's so iconic on electric guitar by one of the greatest blues guitarists of all time, Peter Green, and they had 3 lead guitarists, then I'm not going to be able to emulate that totally on my little electro ukulele. So I'll do a version that I think works. If it works for me, gives me pleasure, then hopefully it gives other people pleasure as well. I am playing this on a low G ukulele. It does work on a high G ukulele, okay? I've tested it out and it's absolutely fine, because the real deep note is that first open C string, and then we're into those chords. The song breaks down into, certain sequences that are repeated. It's more about, how you actually portray the emotion of the song. I'm much more interested when people put their own kind of slant on things, and just vary the essence or the spirit of the record, and get a version that they're happy with. I'm much more happy with that. I'm pretty sure Peter Green would be much happier with that you did your version and just tried to copy absolutely everything that he did. Okay, so for those of you who want to kind of play along to the record, this is the biggest change is the actual key. So Albatross is played in the key of E, which obviously is a really popular key for blues guitar. It just happens to be an extremely unpopular key for ukulele. So what I did is I've transposed that by moving it up a semitone or a half step if you're American, to the key of F, and then things started to fall into place. It really started to work. If you really want to play along to the song still while you're learning it, obviously that might be difficult if you're playing in F and they're playing in E. You can either down tune your ukulele half a semitone, and that will work absolutely fine, or you could do what I did, which is I downloaded the tune, uploaded it into one of these online DAW type systems, so the Soundtrap, BandLab, and there are some others. And once it was in there, then I changed the speed a little, increased the speed so it went from E to F, and then I could play along to that as well. So that's another thing that works. I might do another video about that sometime. I'm going to pop up the video of me actually playing the tune all the way through, well, up to about 3 minutes of it, because it cuts off just right at the end, but you get the general idea. So to start with, we have that as an open C, and then we play 2 chords, which are B flat major 7 and F. But in actual fact, on the B flat major 7, I tend to try and not play the first string, so I'm just playing the 2nd, 3rd and 4th string. So it's up to you how you play it. If you want to play the open string, then fine. Just has a slightly different voicing to it, but based on the comments I said, you've got to do it the version that you're happy with, then fine if you want to play that whole open thing. I tried it with a 4 B flat, just sounded a little bit too twee for me. I just didn't quite like it. I think the major 7 or just by the 3 strings gives it a more kind of bluesy feel, and I think it fits the song better. So that's the opening piece. The thing to remember there is about the timing. You know, you have to stay quite long on that. Now you might notice on the technique I tend to use this kind of pull up and down effect. So because I'm trying to keep quite close to the 2nd, 3rd and 4th string without touching the 1st string. And also you could pluck as well, so that's another technique I might use, where I'm using my 1st finger and my thumb on the inner and outer of those 3 strings. Now that piece repeats quite a lot throughout the song, so once you've mastered it, then you can move on to the next piece, which is the passing notes he uses to move from F up to G minor. So that is, and that's a fairly simple riff. So staying on your F chord, just take off your your 2nd finger off that 2nd fret. Keep the 1st finger on this 1st fret here where it is on the F shape, and then we're going on the 3rd string 0 to up to the finger that's holding down the F on that 1st fret, back again, and then we do this slide from 3 to 5 on the 2nd string. And then we slide again. And back down again. So it's all around those notes. So I've got the 3rd string 2nd fret, my 2nd string 1st fret, and I'm sliding up and down on this 3rd and 5th over here. And again, you can vary that. You can either, you know, listen to what he does on the record and try and emulate absolutely what he does, or you can kind of vary it a little bit. So I might put in some hammers on it, and some bends and maybe some tremolos as well, just to kind of add emphasis and emotion to those notes. So have a little bit of play around with that. And once you've mastered those pieces there, they again come back again into the song on a regular basis. So once you've got that 1st piece and the 2nd piece, you've mastered probably 80% of the tune. So we've got those 2 pieces there. We've moved up to our G minor and then back down again. And then we move on to the next section, which is a little bit more challenging, where in the actual record he's using a bottleneck on his electric guitar on multiple strings to give that a bow, ba da 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 kind of sound, and obviously using a bit of whammy bar as well to kind of get the vibrato and effects. Now we can't do that in the ukulele, so we have to find a way around that, a workaround. And there's probably 2 ways. I'll show you first of all how I play it, then I'll give you another suggested way that you might want to play it. So I move into that by I'm going to be plucking 2 strings throughout this section, and I'm going to be using a position here which is using my 1st and 2nd string going 3rd to 5th, and then I'm going to be using 1st and 2nd strings going 1st to 3rd, and then 1st and 2nd strings again going open to 1, and then back again, like so. Just the 2 strings, don't need to pluck on anything else. And you can either say strum them down with your thumb, or you can pluck them with your thumb and finger. Now the difference is that you've got to kind of emulate the echo and the reverb of the guitar that they're using. So I would do that by the initial one. I slide up from the 1st and 3rd fret to the 3rd and 5th. Oops, try that one again. That's better. So I'm sliding every time I move from that early position to the third and fifth one. And then the other thing I do is try and put a bit of a trailing note in to almost emulate an echo. So I go. So you see I'm just touching that first string as I come out of it. So another way of doing that is by using two ukuleles and each playing single strings. And one will play the upper part, one will play the lower part, so you'll get the harmony that way. So the first one will play. Then this one will play. And so on. And if you can time it right and they come together, then you'll get a nice harmony, and it's easier to play because obviously both players are playing single notes. So that is one way that you could actually do that. Either this way or. So have a play, and you know, if you're playing with an ensemble, then you can do that with kind of single notes and build that up as you go through. That section he repeats again afterwards, and again you can either play it exactly the same or put a little bit of variance in there. And then what happens then, I move on to the next section, which is where he does a kind of a question and answer. But you'll probably notice throughout the song there's kind of distant guitars going on that are kind of you know, in the background. But there's one particular section where the main guitar fades off, and you hear this guitar very much in this, which goes. Now, if I'd got two players, then I'd let someone else play that one and, you know, have loads of reverb or chorus on there to give it that kind of effect. And then I can come in and do the kind of answer part. I perform that as a solo, so I play that myself, and I do certainly on the video, and I try and just play it a little bit gentler. So fairly simple, you know, you're going third to fifth on the first string, and then you're coming right up here, 1 to 5 on the second string, and there's that little kind of hammer off at the end. So then we come into the piece that's probably the most complicated bit after the question and answer, when he brings his guitar back in, and he does that very, very high piece again on slide guitar, but it's really, really high the way that he does it. I couldn't quite get that to work on the ukulele, so I brought that down a couple of octaves, and I play it like this. So I'll go through that with you. What I'm playing there is I'm holding down on the 5th fret, and I'm focusing on the 2nd and 3rd string. And I'm starting off by using then the 2nd finger on the 2nd string on the 6th fret. So that's the first part. And then I go across to the 3rd and 4th string on the 5th fret, and go from the 5th fret up to the 7th fret on those two strings. So I'm going. And again, I'm plucking them, because if I try to strum them, I might hit more strings than I actually want to, and I only want to focus on 2 strings at a time here. So he plays that twice, and then he plays almost the same riff, but he just reverses the end. So he goes 7 down to 5 rather than 5 up to 7. So first part is, and then the second part is, and And then we have probably the most awkward piece, which is I've now got to get down to the F chord. And I've got my first finger now holding down these two strings, the third and the fourth string on the 5th fret. But although I want to then pluck those, I actually then want to move into another position, which is where I play 4th and 5th fret. So I go from playing 2 on the 5th, so that's 3rd and the 4th string on the 5th fret, and now I want to move the 3rd string to only playing on the 4th fret. And that can be a little bit awkward, so I try and move into position a bit ahead of time. So after I've done the, I then move into position quickly, get my 2nd and 3rd finger onto the 5th fret. I have my 1st finger ready on the 4th fret, like that, and then I move down that same position to the 2nd and 3rd fret, and then into the F chord. So I go. So it's a little bit awkward, that one is, and takes a little bit of practice. So we go from this piece, twice there, then we reverse it, and we go back to our intro. We're nearly at the end now. We just have to get the outro piece. And the way that he does the outro is it comes off the riff that moves the F to the G minor. Start that one again. Now this is the change. So he goes. So he's moving the 3rd to the 5th fret. Then he goes back to it again. And then the very last line, slow down, and then into that F note, resolves back to the F. So there it is. That's how to play all the various sections throughout the song. The song's, I think, 3 minutes, 10 seconds long. And as I said, there's lots of sections to repeat. I think the trick with the song is really not to rush it. It's just one of those tunes where people have just got to, you know, really get into it and they relax. I played this at a ukulele club event a few weeks back, and you know, we have this situation where people get up at half time and do a particular song, and I got up with a bass player to do that. And when I first started the song, you know, everyone was still chatting after the half-time break, having a drink and so on. And I was playing it, you know, really laid back and relaxed. And within about 20 seconds, the sound in the room, the audience stopped and everybody was listening. It's just kind of one of those tunes that just kind of draws you in. That kind of very, very relaxed. And I wasn't trying to bash it and play it really loud to get their attention. I was kind of playing it nice and smooth and laid back. So it is one of those tunes that's really, really rewarding if you can get it. And again, great for an ensembler. Either you know, you emulate what Fleetwood Mac do, you know, where you have you know, what I was playing there and then a question and answer coming from another uke, or you use multiple ukes, or using kind of single notes to build up the actual harmonies as you're going through. So hopefully if you like this video, if you could like it down below, that would be really great. Even better if you could subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that, or leave a comment. I do respond to my comments. In between time, enjoy the ukulele.